Hello, I'm Monte, and in this video, I am going to tell you some things that I learned from chapter 3 of the Atomic Habits book by James Clear, and I hope that you could learn something to be able to implement and act on and change your habits. So I don't want to waste your time. If you enjoy this content, do me a favor and drop a like, as it really helps out for the YouTube algorithm. And without further ado, we're going to get right into the content here today. So chapter 3 was about habits and why we have them and how they affect our minds. That's what I took away from it the most. And there were 4 steps to habits that we all endure and deal with in our day-to-day lives. And I'll go over them with you. So the steps, the process of a habit are as follows. There's cues, cravings, response, and reward. And in the book, James Clear outlined it in a way that I thought was very interesting. He talked about how there is a circle when it comes to habit formation that occurs, and it becomes a feedback loop. And what does he mean by that? I'll tell you. There's a cue first. For instance, there's a cue when you are walking to the office and you smell something that you like. Let's say donuts. You're walking to the office, going into work. You smell some really, really good Krispy Kreme donuts. That sparks a craving because you're craving the donut. So you respond to that by going into the donut shop and ordering yourself one of those really great sugar and cinnamon donuts, and you reward yourself by eating it. And in response to that, every time you get that cue of smelling donuts that you really like when you're walking to the office, you will reward yourself over time with the satisfaction of that donut. And then it's just a feedback loop where it's cue, craving, response, reward. So that's what he's talking about in terms of that feedback loop. And I found that to be very interesting because I could harken back and notice that in my life for sure, where I would, for instance, for me, it's coffee. Whenever I wake up, I wasn't the biggest morning person when I was in high school and when I was in middle school, but now I love the morning. I'm a big, huge morning person. But part of the reason for that is every time I wake up, I might feel a little groggy before I go to work or before I start and work on some content. And my cue is I wake up. The craving is after waking up and feeling groggy, I want coffee. I respond by getting myself coffee, and the reward is I got a great cup of Joe and I'm ready to start my day. I'm engaging in that feedback loop every day, and we all do it in various things that we do in our lives. So that was one of the first things that I learned from chapter 3 of Atomic Habits. There's 2 phases, which is the cue craving, which he calls the problem phase. And there's also the solution phase, which he refers to as the response reward phase. And an example of that is, let's say you're answering emails. You're answering emails, and in the process of answering emails, I hate answering emails. That's one of the worst. Hate is a harsh word. I aggressively dislike answering a bunch of emails. Okay, back on track. We're answering emails. In the process of doing that, we get stressed. We start biting our nails. We start to associate answering emails with biting our nails. That feedback loop goes around in that full circle in that instance. You're answering emails, you start feeling stressed, so you start biting your nails, and then you associate answering emails with biting your nails. So that's the cue, craving, response, reward working in tandem in a feedback loop. So that's the problem phase, cue craving, and solution phase, response reward. That's a little more in detail with the habit loop. Another thing that I thought was interesting is all behavior is driven by the desire to solve a problem. So every behavior, every habit that we have, intrinsically, we all do it to solve a problem. So what do we do to try to use our habits and implement them in a positive way, in the right way? Well, James Clear talked about how there are 4 laws of behavior change. What are those 4 laws? The first law is the cue, and that is making it obvious. The second law, the craving, make it attractive. The third law is your response, and you need to make that easy. And the fourth law is the reward. You need to make it satisfying. That's for good habits. He also talked about how inversely, with bad habits, this is what you can do so you could break a habit. So the inverse of that is the first rule is you need to make it invisible. The second law, you need to make it unattractive. The third law, you need to make it difficult. And the fourth law, you need to make it unsatisfying. So there's 2 different ways to either build a good habit or to break a bad habit. So I thought that was interesting because it gives you actionable things that you can think about with what you do in your life. Like for me, it's laundry. I am a hamper champion. I got multiple hampers, and when I am going through life and doing my thing, I get into a habit, a bad habit that I need to work on, of tossing things into these hampers and not doing my laundry as often and as consistently as I would like. And I let the hampers build up too long. So I need to figure out and implement a way so that doesn't happen as much. But those are the laws to break and build bad habits. For the good habits, it's first, you need to make it. Let me reverse back to so I don't tell you the wrong thing. We need to make it obvious. The second law, we need to make it attractive. The third law, we need to make it easy. And the fourth law, make it satisfying. And then the inverse is true for breaking a habit. I thought that was very interesting in quality information. What's another thing that I want to talk to you guys about? Another thing that I gleaned from chapter 3 is simply ask yourself 4 things when you want to change a habit, and you could still use those laws, the laws to break habits. You can ask yourself, how can I make whatever you're doing? How can I make it obvious? How can I make it attractive? How can I make it easy? And how can I make it satisfying? And he talked about how you can implement those 4 rules and laws in anything you're doing in life, whether you're working in medicine, whether you're in school, whether you're trying to start a small business, whether you're trying to work on a podcast or a YouTube channel. You need to figure out, how can I make this obvious? How can I make it attractive to other people? How can I make it easy? How can I make the workflow? How can I make whatever I'm doing? How can I ease the workload? And fourth, how can I make it satisfying for myself to do it and for other people? These can be implemented in anything that you're doing in your life, and I found that to be helpful. Literally, me going through and giving you a summary and transcribing and figuring out what I gleaned from the book here is helping me. I am engaging in a habit by doing this because it's teaching me to learn. And what you can do, if you enjoy this video, if you enjoy this content, you can make it a habit to watch it and a habit to listen to me, listen to this channel. Go ahead and like and subscribe to the content if you enjoy this. Another quote that I saw that I really wanted to share with you is, every goal is doomed to fail if it goes against the grain of human nature. Every goal is doomed to fail if it goes against the grain of human nature. Because as human beings, we have subconscious things that are going on in our mind all the time that we don't even notice and realize that we're doing. So, to summarize and to land the plane of this video, habits are things that if repeated enough, they become second nature to us. The ultimate purpose of our habits are to solve life's problems automatically with little effort. I harken back to, how can I make it obvious? How can I make it attractive? How can I make it easy for myself? And how can I make it satisfying for me to do and for other people? Keep those in your mind. That's a good way to frame it and move forward and figure out how you can build this into your life and how you can change bad habits that you have and build good ones. And one other thing that I wanted to end with here is a quote from Jason Reha, and he indicated or quoted, habits are simply reliable solutions to recurring problems in our environment. Habits are simply reliable solutions to recurring problems in our environment. And I found that helpful because often when people think about habits or when I think about habits for myself, I think about things that I'm not doing correctly or things I can improve on. And I'm not accounting for how everything that I'm doing in my life all the time, my mind subconsciously, my body subconsciously is computing things and trying to find the best way, the easiest way to get things done that I want to get done. And I need to make a more concerted effort to make sure that the things that I do automatically are productive and gonna help me get to the point where I want to be in the future. So that's what I gleaned from chapter number 3. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that one person, at least one person, can learn from what I'm getting from this book. And if you are interested in Atomic Habits, I have a link in the description to the book that you could purchase on Amazon. Disclaimer, it's an affiliate link. So if you do purchase the book, I get a small kickback, a commission on that. And I appreciate you for supporting the channel. I appreciate you for listening. And this book has been very helpful to me, and I know that it could help a lot of other people. So that's what we're all about here. Productivity and making sure that we're getting better each and every day. So without further delay, I'm going to let you guys go. And until next time, peace.